Good evening, everybody. Obviously, this is a very exciting night for all of us. And I want to answer one question that's been asked about 30 times tonight to me. And the question is this a real draft? Or has everybody just been picked in advance? The answer is this is a real draft. Okay, we have 6 players over here, 6 people that have been chosen by Larry Barris to select the teams. We've got players over here to my right who have no idea what teams they're going to play on. And I can tell you this is very exciting for the 120 players that we have signed coming into tonight. So this is definitely real, and these guys have no idea where they're playing.
Except that it will be in Israel. Well, many of my colleagues are busy with another draft this week, but I think I got the better assignment. Certainly you heard some of these guys talk up here. They're very excited about this. I think everyone who's involved in it is excited about it. I was just talking to Art Shamsky, and it's great that after all these years, Art being kind of the default Jewish athlete in New York at all these events, is going to have an opportunity to go and actually coach some other Jewish players and not just talk about his experiences as a Jewish athlete. We were also talking, Art and I, briefly about one of his more illustrious teammates, not with the Mets, but when he was coming up in the Reds organization, he had a teammate named Pete Rose, a roommate actually, I think. Well, is that right, Art? Were you guys roommates? Yeah, you guys were roommates, and I think Pete had a habit of blaming you for some of the people who showed up late at night in the room, where it really was his fault. Is that true?
That's true.
That is true. And there's a managerial vacancy in the league, so maybe Mr. Rose would consider coming to Israel. But obviously, this is going to be a lot of fun for a lot of people. You've got one of the great minds in baseball, Dan Duquette, who is very much involved with this. You've got some great talent. I've had an opportunity to look over, the resumes of many of the players who are available in the draft. I mean, you've got guys who played all over the world, who've been prospects in the top organizations in Major League Baseball. Real pitchers, real fielders, real hitters, real base runners, guys with real skills. And I think, that's going to be, as Dan has suggested, the most important thing, putting a very good product on the field. And tonight is the night when it kind of all, comes to fruition and everybody gets a sense of what they're going to have to deal with. So, anything else you wanted to say, Dan, before we get underway?
Well, I just want to say that I think we've got a couple of pitchers in the league that will help the Yankees.
First, let me explain the process. We have, in order, the Modi'in team, then the Petach Tikva team, then the Tel Aviv team, the Bet Shemesh team, the Ra'anana team, and the Netanya team, picking an order in round 1. They go in reverse order in round 2, back and forth like that, the serpentine type of a draft. We're going to do 10 rounds, which represents only half the rosters, and the rest of the players will be allocated accordingly by Dan Duquette and Martin Berger, which means that some very, very good players are not going to be drafted tonight, but they are going to be ending up on the team, obviously. The selection process really picked 120 great players. Modi'in Miracle with the first pick of the first round of the first draft ever held by the first professional league in Israel. Select first baseman Aaron Levin.
Aaron played for Brett Saberhagen, who's the head coach at Calabasas High School now in California, where we held our tryouts a couple of weeks ago in Los Angeles. And Brett was a big help to the league in not only getting us players, but also giving us facilities to have tryouts for and recommending a lot of players for us.
With the second pick, the Petach Tikva Pioneers select outfielder Yerachmiel Reynaldo Cruz.
What can you tell me about Mr. Cruz?
Well, this kid is one of the Dominican players that we signed a couple weeks ago down there. He's a center fielder. He played pro ball in the States, I think, for 4.5 years. He's a big, strong kid. He's got outstanding speed. He's got a great arm. He has power, and he has a little bit of a long swing. But he's a very, very exciting player, and one of the few 5-tool players anywhere, really.
One of the things that we were so excited about in the IBL that a lot of us learned as we went along was the relationship that Israel has with the Dominican Republic. Not many of us knew much about it, but we've learned a lot since we've been down there. For those of you who don't know, back in the 1930s when Jews were being thrown out of Europe, the Dominican Republic was one of the very few countries who accepted Jews. It opened up its doors. It has been a partner with Israel ever since. There was a very large Jewish community in the Dominican Republic for many years. A lot of them have left, but there still is a synagogue in Santo Domingo. There is a big community up in the northern part of the Dominican Republic. And in fact, there is an Israeli embassy in Santo Domingo. And when we went down there for our tryouts, which were incredible, the Israeli ambassador came to the tryouts, came to the stadium where Escogido and Licey play, and it was really a remarkable experience down there.
The third pick is for the Tel Aviv Lightning. It looks like Phil Rosenfield listened to Casey Stengel, and with the selection by the Tel Aviv Lightning, Anderson Mejia is going to be joining that team. He's a catcher from the Dominican Republic.
This guy throws as good as anybody I've seen, and he's a big, strong catcher. He has a great arm, good size, got excellent hands. He'll handle the pitching staff, which is key. And I really think that people will come out to see this guy throw an infield. This guy can really bring it. He's a very impressive guy.
With the fourth pick, the Bet Shemesh Blue Sox select pitcher Jason Benson from Canada. The Ra'anana Express also goes for pitching. They select pitcher John Fu.
We have 11 kids coming over from the Australian professional leagues. Jason Benson was really our ambassador over there and kind of acted as our general manager and spent the entire, what was our winter and their summer, recruiting players to the league. And he went from team to team, would watch these guys play. We would talk almost every day via email about which pitchers were pitching well, and we just plucked as many guys from Australia as we could. Just terrific players, and Jonathan was a phenomenal pitcher from there.
With the final pick in the first round, the Netanya Tigers pick the father of Larry Rutenberg, Dan Rutenberg.
People thought he was too old to get drafted in the first round.
Seth Kogan is coming down. Is going to hopefully one day be one of the general managers of the Netanya Tigers.
Put it on
We go reverse order now, so Netanya gets its second pick, the first pick of the second round. It selects third baseman Hector De Los Santos. The Ra'anana Express select catcher Juan Ramirez.
There are actually limits. I mean, there's so many, obviously, talented Dominican players, but a decision was made, as is made in the basketball leagues, that there could only be so many from that country actually playing in the Israel Baseball League.
Right. I mean, we went down there. We were expecting to have about 20 to 30 guys total try out, and the first day of tryouts was in San Pedro de Macorís, and we had 83 players show up. And then the second day was in Santo Domingo, and we had another 80 players show up. And I mean, and of course, Dan recruited half of them when he was with the Red Sox and recognized half of them. And these guys were phenomenal players, but we decided to limit it to 14 players to start for the first season.
The Bet Shemesh Blue Sox select pitcher Ben Pincus.
Ben came down to Miami for the Miami tryouts, where we had a terrific group of players, and a lot of great college players came down there. Ben was the first pitcher to come pitch. Ben came in there and pitched so well. Ben, come sit down and talk to us over here. Right. Ben pitched so well that Dan just turned to us and said, "You got to have this kid pitch 3 innings in this game." I mean, he was that good. So, we're excited to have Ben. Ben, maybe you can talk a little bit about the tryouts and Dan and what was going on down there in Miami.
Well, the tryout was an interesting experience because I've been around a lot of different levels of baseball, both structured and unstructured, and this tryout went really well. They were good about making sure that they kept the players that could really play the game, because I'm not going to say that there were players that shouldn't have been there, because everyone needs that opportunity, but they were really good about making sure that they had the best players to choose from. And what they did was they let the position players run the 60 and take infield, outfield, and hit, and they let the pitchers throw a couple pitches. And they picked, they made a cut, if you will, and we played a game. And the pitchers threw a certain amount of pitches. I was lucky enough, I did well enough that they wanted me to keep throwing. And you know, if someone's letting me play baseball, I'll do that all day. So, you know, ended up the trial went really well, and they offered me a contract before I left.
Congratulations.
Tel Aviv has made its selection. They pick pitcher Adam Crabb from Australia. Petach Tikva selects pitcher Josh Epstein.
Kind of intimidating going up and throwing a bullpen after not pitching for about 7 months in front of the former general manager of the Boston Red Sox. It's pretty cool.
Well, I'll tell you, Josh had a good fastball, a good sinker. He got his breaking ball over, and we're looking forward to having him in the league. Congratulations.
The last selection in round 2 by the Modine Miracle is pitcher Matthew Bennett, who, if I remember correctly, pitched for the Brockton Rocks. In round 3, Modine Miracle select outfielder Moko Moanaroa. With this pick, Petach Tikva selects third baseman Ryan Croton. Tel Aviv has made its choice. It selects left-handed pitcher Aaron Pribble.
The players are all going to be staying in one place. All 6 teams are going to be living in one place called Kfar HaYarok. It's a campus that's in the town of Ramat HaSharon, which is just north of Tel Aviv. It's on the southern end. So the players are going to be a 5-minute bus ride from the beach, a 5-minute bus ride into downtown Tel Aviv, and it's a phenomenal facility. Gym, pool, everything. The players are going to love it.
Bet Shemesh selects Sean Slaughter. The Ra'anana's up. They select shortstop Brandon Rubenstein.
One of the great things about working with a guy like Dan Duquette is that when you mention Dan Duquette's name, you have instant credibility wherever you go. Whether it's a tryout, whether it's a scouting service, when you mention Dan Duquette's name, people perk up and they really know that you're a serious league. And it's really led to us being able to sign a lot of the players who are sitting over here to my right, a lot of the players like Brandon Rubenstein, because people are giving us their best players. These are Division I players who can really play baseball. He's a young kid, and you know it's really helped us in this whole process.
I have both the last pick in the 3rd round and the first pick in the 4th round, both by Netanya. It's the Twin Towers. Pitcher Leon Feingold is the last pick of the 3rd round.
Apparently, Feingold is good.
Who's the other pick?
Very well said, well spoken.
Congratulations.
The other pick is pitcher Mike Kerfeld.
Actually, if it weren't for our number 1 pick, I would not have been here. Dan Rudenberg is the gentleman who I've been playing baseball with for the last 5 years in a semi-pro league over in Westchester, Rockland. He told me about the tryouts, and I went. Very impressed by the people I saw there, the level of play. Was very excited when I found out that we got the contract, and jumped right on it. I'm really glad to be here.
The Ra'anana Express select outfielder Matt Castillo. Bet Shemesh, round 4, selects Jason Reese, outfielder.
Is there any limit on the Australians or only on the Dominicans?
We have 12 Australian players. You know, the major leagues have a lot of scouts over in Australia during the year, and we had a lot of players that we had under contract that eventually just got signed by major league organizations into their minor leagues. We've probably had throughout this process, I'd say 20 to 25 players that we've had under contract that have just said, you know, listen, I've got signed by a minor league or an independent league team, especially, you know, in addition to pitchers and catchers. You know, we've had several catchers that we've recruited, that we found, and have just been signed away from us. But it's part of what, you know, what we're doing. And we're working with a lot of different services. And you ask where are we finding a lot of these players? There's a service called the Jewish Sports Review. It's a great magazine out of San Francisco. And I know this may sound crazy, but they do a preseason and postseason Jewish All-American team for every competitive major sport in college, men's and women's. So when we first started this process, we contacted them and I said, listen, I want to see your Jewish All-American team for the past 5 years. And we got it for baseball, and a lot of the guys are sitting over here playing Jewish All-American. I know Brian did, I know Aaron Rosedale was a Jewish All-American, Josh Epstein was a Jewish All-American, Dan was, Nate was. So a lot of our players came from this, you know, this guide to Jewish athletes in college. It's been fantastic.
Tel Aviv selects outfielder Josh Matlow with his 4th pick.
Our goal to have Jewish major leaguers be allowed to play on our team. The standard, so you know, for whether a player can play for a country is whether they are eligible to be citizens of that country.
Petach Tikva selects pitcher Ryan Budkowski. I have two selections. With the 4th round pick, Modine Miracle selects Dan Drury, outfielder. And with the first pick in round 5, Modine picks pitcher Andre Sternberg. Petach Tikva selects my man from the Golden League, second baseman Willis Bumpus.
Willie Bumpus came all the way from California, and Larry mentioned that he drove to the trial in Hinsdale. This kid played in the Golden League, which is a startup league in California. Played second base. He played junior college in California. He has good speed, and he's an exciting player. I don't know who's ranking the players, but I'm surprised he lasted that long in the draft.
Perhaps the only player with 4 names, Tel Aviv selects third baseman Nate Fish.
Thanks, guys. You've heard me talk enough, but I just wanted to say hi to my mother and father and sister and 2 friends who are here.
How is the quality of the Taiwanese and Korean leagues these days?
The Korean League is good, and the Taiwan League is also good. They're supported by corporations within the country, but the Taiwan League is really taken off.
Yeah, we got contacted by a couple of Japanese agents who gave us about 10 to 12 Japanese players to look at. Dan sort of vetted through it, and they really weren't playing for the higher leagues in Japan. They were playing for the industrial league, so we kind of took a pass. We do have one Japanese player, Ryoju Kihara, who we did sign, who had some experience here in the Golden League in California, and you know, had the numbers that Dan was looking for. So we had some interest from the Far East.
It's starting to get a little more nerve-wracking, I think, for the pickers. Bet Shemesh selects pitcher Daniel Shafardeh. Ra'anana has its pick. It selects first baseman Scott Feller.
We have pre-assigned certain players to certain teams, and those are the players from Israel. We've signed about 12 players from Israel, and what we've tried to do is take the players and put them near their hometowns.
Netanya, with the final pick in the 5th round, selects pitcher Ryoju Kihara. Round 6, first choice by the Netanya Tigers, pitcher Todd Gratton. We have another Japanese player, second baseman, picked by Ra'anana, Ben Katz Moses. Bet Shemesh, with its pick, selects first baseman Johnny Lopez. Tel Aviv has made its choice, shortstop Raul Franco. Petach Tikva has chosen pitcher Andrew Morales. With this next selection, the Modine Miracle selects pitcher Richard Rubel. Modine Miracle again, they select outfielder Justin Marlette. Okay, Petach Tikva selects outfielder Aaron Rosedal.
Yeah. Aaron played at Emory along with a bunch of the guys in this league, and Aaron has been a great ambassador for this league. Feel free to take the mic and talk if you'd like.
Well, you just leave me like that. A great ambassador. No, I'm extremely honored to be here. When I left Emory, along with many of these other guys, I thought my career was over, but I'm back.
Tel Aviv, with its pick, selects outfielder Brian Langboard.
Yeah, we're going to talk about a competition. These two guys played the outfield together for Emory University at the same time. And I know that there were a lot of bets going on about who would get drafted first. Actually, you know, Brian brought us Aaron, and we were real excited to have both of them in the league. And maybe you could talk for a second, Brian, about Emory and how it's producing so many players for us, and the coach, and what he's been doing in promoting our league.
Well, I think, for a Division III program, we're a top 10 team every year. We've sent a lot of guys to a lot of different professional leagues. We have guys who play in Australia, a lot of guys independently, Golden Baseball League. The guy who graduated a couple years ago was ranked the 17th best prospect in the Red Sox organization, Andrew Pickney, third baseman, So, I mean, it starts, I think, with the level of play. Mike Tradarski, our coach, actually played under Dan Duquette in the minor leagues. He played at Alabama and then had a long, lengthy minor league career that didn't get his cup of coffee. But You know, he's a great guy, and I think he's got our program going in the right direction. And a lot of guys love the game of baseball. And you know, Emory has a pretty sizable Jewish population. And I was surprised when I got there at the number of Jewish ball players. I mean, growing up, I didn't play with a whole lot of Jewish guys, especially not who could play. So you get there and you got a whole team full of Jewish guys who, you know, are great players. And you know, it was surprising. Guys want to keep playing, and you know, are quality players. And
Have you been to Israel?
I've never been to Israel. So,
You'll see a lot of Jews.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Shemesh, with his selection, takes pitcher Raphael Bergstrom. Ra'anana selects third baseman Donnie Mott. Tanya Tigers, with the final selection in round 7, takes second baseman Ray Rodriguez.
A lot of people don't know a lot of things about Israel. I mean, I'd say, you know, for a long time, about 20% of the phone calls and emails that I got were not from the players, they were from the players' parents. Who were concerned about safety and, you know, questions about what are you going to do about Al-Qaeda over there and, and roadside bombing. So there's a lot of unknowns when it comes to Israel for a lot of different people, especially the non-Jews. We've done everything we can to, you know, assure them that we're playing in safe places, but, you know, and letting them know Israel is Israel.
The Tanya Tigers, with its pick in the 8th round, selects third baseman Ryan Forsyth. Ra'anana selects pitcher Josh Zumbran.
All the Israelis that we sign, they have an obligation to be in the military, but we were successful in getting the military to recognize their service in baseball, which is significant, in that they can go and be in the military, and then they'll recognize the time with us later in the day.
Shemesh, in round 8, selects outfielder Mike Lyons. I have 4 picks.
Ready.
Tel Aviv selects right-handed pitcher Cameron Ewers.
Go ahead.
Petach Tikva selects catcher Michael Olson. Modi'in goes with third baseman Jamie Amar. And with the first pick in the 9th round, Modi'in selects catcher Eladio Rodriguez. Petach Tikva selects a pitcher, a name I almost named my own son, Alper Yulutis.
Ultimately, how long do you think it's going to take to develop Israeli talent capable of playing in this league?
Well, you know, that's a good question, because that's part of the foundation of the success of the program. Certainly the biggest challenge facing us is the facilities. And with us getting a couple of facilities online this year, we have the government support and the JNF support to bring a couple more facilities online for next year. And having said that, these players that go there will be role models for the younger players. We will upgrade the facilities. We will upgrade the coaching by coaching the coaches. And our goal is to get a team in the 2009 World Baseball Classic. If we do that, we bring this project to a whole other level, which accelerates the role models for the kids over there and the programs and the coaching. To answer your question, it's probably going to take 3 or 4 years for us to zero in and bring some more talent through.
Tel Aviv picks a catcher with the 9th pick, catcher Dane Wig.
Leagues are growing in Israel. Little leagues are growing. There is a men's sort of adult baseball league. Anybody over the age of 16 can play in it. And where they were struggling to field teams last year, they are overflowing this season. Partly because we've agreed with them to take some of their top players and put them into the Israeli league. But everybody is signing up, everybody is playing. The fields are overbooked. They can't get onto the fields right now. And we're real excited about where it's going to go.
Okay, Bet Shemesh is up. They pick outfielder Justin Cardinal.
There was a reason that we made Beit Shemesh's uniforms look like the Yankees and Modi'in's uniforms look like the Mets. Beit Shemesh is a very Americanized city, or a city filled with Americans from New York. I mean, you walk around on a Friday afternoon when they go play Little League, everybody's wearing a Yankees cap. They love the Yankees in Beit Shemesh. Modi'in and Ra'anana are 2 very progressive cities. It's probably 2 of the hottest places for Americans who are making Aliyah to go to. They are Cubs fans, Cardinals fans, they are Mets fans. And as Larry was talking, there's already a rivalry brewing between Modi'in and Beit Shemesh, partly because we have a former Met and a former Yankee managing the 2 teams. And Larry has received emails from people calling themselves #1 Modi'in hater.
Ra'anana with its pick, has selected outfielder John Tausis. The final pick in the 9th round, Netanya takes somebody that I think I have heard over and over again, what a great kid, outfielder Ben Engelhardt. With the final pick, the Netanya Tigers select Brian Pinchuk, outfielder. With its final selection, Nana takes outfielder Stephen Rabb.
He's not in your synagogue, is he?
No, he doesn't go to my
Okay.
But he did go to Muhlenberg College. We will have 3 Muhlenberg players with us this season.
Bet Shemesh selects pitcher Scott Perlman.
All right. Only American to throw a gyro ball.
We were in LA 2 weeks ago, and Scott, who plays with Dan Rutenberg and Leon, flew out from New York to Los Angeles. And Scott was the first pitcher in the game. And first pitch he throws is a fastball, the guy takes it. Second pitch he throws was a ball that we have no idea what it did, but it must have moved about 8 different ways. Dan looks up and he says, "What was that?" Scott looks over and goes, "That's my gyro ball."
That's right.
And,
Not sure.
Scott, thank you for being here.
Sure. It's been a long trip for me. I'm sure one of the older players has been drafted in this league, and to have the opportunity to play pro ball at 40 years old really is something special. And I'm very thankful for the opportunity, and I'm really looking forward to not only playing but also teaching the game to the people of Israel and their children.
I have the final 3 selections in my hand for the 57-67 inaugural draft of the Israel Baseball League. Tel Aviv selects second baseman Matt Brill. Petach Tikva selects outfielder David Green. With the last pick, the Modi Miracle select pitcher Sandy Koufax.
I want to thank everybody for being here, coming out to this event. We wish the best of luck to all the players, the players, the coaches, the managers, the ownership, league executives, and broadcasters, of course.
It's crazy for me to try to thank people from this venue because there are just so many people to thank, so many people that have been involved pretty much from day one and on, but I do have to single out a few people, a few organizations. On the organizational side, I'd like to thank 3 partners of ours, the Jewish National Fund, which from day one has just been tremendous. They have been tremendous for, what, about 101 years? 106 years. And they really embraced this project called Project Baseball to dot the landscape of Israel with baseball fields because they are in charge of recreation along with the recreational facilities in Israel, and they're really trying to do the job over there in Israel on that. We also have 2 companies, Nakona Athletic Equipment and Amigo Cell Phones, that have really stepped up to the plate and have been tremendous supporters of ours throughout the last year and a half, so I'd like to thank them. And then in terms of people, I mean, I can go on, but I'm going to name only 4 tonight, and please everybody else, excuse me, know that the appreciation is really there. The 4 are people that I never met before tonight, Roberta and Jay Post, and Irene and Larry Posner. These are the parents of Alicia Post and Emily Posner, the co-organizers of this event. You get to my age and you have a theory just about everything in life, and the theories that I have include the fact that you can pretty much tell what people are like by the children that they have. And that's why I want to thank the people that I did, because clearly we're talking about 4 exceptional people, given the fact that the 2 people that were the main co-organizers of this event did such an amazing job. So thank you to you 4.